Hello, this is Dr. Andrew Weil. Welcome to this program about self-healing with guided imagery, one of my favorite subjects. I think you will find it most interesting and useful. I should say at the beginning that what we're really going to be talking about here is harnessing the imagination in the service of healing, which I think is one of the most powerful techniques to access healing. And before I start, I should give you some of my definitions. For me, health is a state of balance and wholeness, but it's a state that is dynamic and ever-changing because everything around us and in us changes. We're subjected to so many forces, so many insults that have the potential to push us off balance. And so the body is constantly self-correcting and adjusting. And it's this dynamic aspect of health that really has to be taken account in any discussions of how to keep yourself healthy and how to restore health when it's lost. I also see healing as a dynamic process and something that's our birthright. It's natural, it's innate. Whenever we lose the temporary equilibrium of health, forces come into play to restore that balance. Physiologists have called this homeostasis. I would generalize that to something much larger. I talk about the body's healing system, the intrinsic nature of healing. I've often said that it's ironic that it's easier to talk about this subject with children than with many of my medical colleagues. If a child gets a cut, it's very easy to plant the seed of the concept that the body has a healing system. You just say, watch what happens over the next few days, and you see that there is this ability to self-diagnose and repair and regenerate tissue. Well, that same thing is available to you when anything goes wrong in the body. It's automatic, it's innate. And I think for me as a physician, when I'm working with a sick person, the question that's uppermost in my mind is, why is healing not happening? What can I do as an outside person to unblock healing or to activate it or give it a nudge so that it comes into play? I mean, that's really the question. And I think the main point is that healing is something that comes from within. When we talk about treatments, we're talking about actions that we do from outside. And at best, treatment works to facilitate healing. The example that I always use in teaching medical students and physicians is that if you have a patient acutely ill with a bacterial pneumonia and put them in the hospital and give them intravenous antibiotics, and 36 hours later they're out of danger, it's very easy to think that the antibiotics caused the cure. But I'd ask you to look at that somewhat differently. What happens in that situation is that antibiotics reduce populations of germs down to levels where the body's immune system can take over and finish a job that it couldn't do because it was overwhelmed. To me, that's a model for the relationship between treatment and healing. At best, treatments work by facilitating healing. They activate, unblock, turn on intrinsic mechanisms of healing. I also talk a lot about optimum health. I've written a book called 8 Weeks to Optimum Health, for example. And in my view, optimum health means that you're healthy on all levels, not just the level of the physical body, but also on the mental, emotional level, on the spiritual level. And I think that these other dimensions of human life have to be taken account of when we talk about health and healing or look at illness. One of the most valid criticisms of conventional medicine is its lopsided emphasis on the physical, and especially in contemporary conventional medicine where time pressures have become so great under managed care. Physicians, even if they're interested and trained to do this, often don't even have the time to ask questions about people's mental states, their emotional well-being, let alone their spiritual lives.